brothers is telling him, yo, listen, this is not right and exact. And so things proceed. So when he comes here, it's kind of like, yo, look, God's already told you what it is. What you came here for. I'm not going to tell you nothing, right? I'm not going to tell you. What you expect me to tell you? Oh, yeah, nah, they not right and shit. Yeah, you tell me. What do you expect me to tell you? The topic is people keeping pet snakes. Where, see, like Supreme Man said, right? You got your sword out. You got your sword out, right? For the righteous. You got your sword out. The revolution is eating his baby, but see, you got pet snakes. You got snakes that you like. If you go above and beyond letting them live, you keep them alive. You see? And what they do, sting again and again and again and again and again. There's a difference between disagreeing and what you speaking is not a lie teaching. You know what I'm saying? And see, Supreme, I'm gonna tell you what's disappointing, right? Is to know.
Yo, 2 1 2 1 2. Can y'all hear me out there? So I can see we got some new technology here that I figured it out. King Math, Felix Almanzar, Ankh MD. But trying to, how do I get? We got some figuring. Wait. Let's try to look for a proper standard better lay out there. Trying to see how this looks on my screen over here. Alright, that's a little bit halfway decent. Now I don't like to, seeing the what's the name? You're not seeing the Leonard Jones. We working. I'm trying to get the layout like I want it. Trying to get a little bit better. I changed it. Now I'm down. got a lag time here. Okay, alright. Alright, looks like it where is oh, I see now. Alright. So we have free site for a lot 793rd. See how that comes up. Uh, so it's what's going on out there with Charlie? This is we. This is us attempting to use a little new program here. Apparently, you need some serious computing power or something. I guess maybe I got too many toys. I got a lot of stuff here. I got uh, I got some stuff y'all ain't ready for. I don't know what happened with that music too. Kept chopping up. Uh, Divine just came in. Alright. Why isn't he standing from Coney Island? Alright, yeah, I remember you came in last last uh last week who's rolling with us. trying to figure this out. It's a little bit. There's quite a bit here going on the screen. Let me see. How do we advance? Trying to look past these comments somewhat. But I guess we a little bit settled there now. We we gotta get used to this slowly, I think. Slowly, slowly. And I got isn't that there? Let's see if we can. This is 5%. Divine God of love. Alright, Divine. You okay today? Last time we encountered you. Well, pretty much every time we encounter you, you like a box of chocolates, I suppose. This, I think this new thing right here requires that I use a computer as possible. All right, let's still. Why does that keep happening? He said just told my black seed I can't, which I can't for real. I don't know if I know. Get my screen hooked up. I'm trying to get my screen hooked up like everybody else. It's the signs, Malik. Trying to get my screen situation hooked up, and it's not. It's not allowing me to do it how I want to do it. From Franklin Equipment. All right. Can't place them off the top of my head, but that's peace. Hopefully, God joins in with us. Hopefully, God joins in with us and we see what's going on. But kid, as y'all can see, I'm Wisdom Be Born. Y'all can see I've been really. This is what I've been doing all day. I'm just testing. I got this. I got a new app right here. He said, asking how he could log on. I mean, what he wants to log on. He wants to come on the show. You see, that's the good thing about this right here. Is that I got the link again, where people can come on, and at the same time, I got some other, really old stuff. We've been doing. Sometimes we have to bring things back. Sometimes we have to bring things back. I'm trying to. Digital Scene Truth. Now, this is not. This right here is. Let me see. See, I don't know how this. I have to turn this off. What's this now? It seems the background seems airy. Yeah, if he's on YouTube, then yeah, that's all you got to do is put. All right, doesn't look bad now. Let's see. All right, I think I like that. Let's see how that looks up there. Oh man, this, this. Damn, totally wrong. That's what I'm talking about. You see that? Look, it's for the background. We took. Oh yeah, that's the. Yeah, right now it's nothing I can do. I already turned the. I already turned the AC off. I can't this fan right here for right now until we figure that out. Maybe let me see if I turn it down a touch. No, doesn't seem like it helped all that much. This thing over here, who knows what's going on with that? But yeah, let's get down. Let's get down to some business. But yeah, if he's on YouTube, yeah, tell him he can just search for Darkim. Hey, question: Is anybody on the? Is anybody on the? Is anybody on the? Because supposedly right now I'm broadcasting from several. I'm broadcasting from more than one location. That's what they said. Let me see. Is that kind of stable yet? Is anybody? Has anybody checked the city sciences page? I'm trying to stay on top of where. All right, our King and Law just checked in. Welcome to the channel. I have no idea why that is so unstable. Shout out to the guy. This guy, listen, before you came on, I don't know what the guy meant by that, but he said y'all was old. Yeah, we'll check it out. I'll check it out. We gotta see how things go down. Trying to figure out why we so unstable with that other part of the picture right there. We'll see what's going on. Yeah, I don't know though, but how you see that? How you see that? You guys saying that y'all are old. Kid, supposedly this is broadcasting on the City Sciences and on this channel over here as well. I got a whole bunch of new stuff over here. We didn't even get a chance to try out yet. That's the private. Then look, we posted got a little background music now. We just need just a little background sounds. I don't know. That's too loud. We gotta find a proper level for that right there. So I said that monitor experience with knowledge on a number of layers too. Almighty true divine. Oh my. So I can't say I had knowledge of self since that fourth right there. City Sciences, that's another YouTube page. I just haven't been broadcasting over there, but I'm gonna start broadcasting over there. I think I'm gonna start doing. I think I'm gonna start doing. I think I'm gonna start doing some reaction type videos over there. Oh, let me turn this up. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I got all these various new joys here. I had that for listening. So you say, wait, Leonard Jones, you say you equality cipher? Because we got another comment there that says, you guys said I had knowledge since, and then you said equality cipher. See, I got all this type of stuff now. City Science, MIT. Yeah, look, I gotta get that channel into the algorithm. It's not that channel is not it's not like how it used to be. Well, actually, it never really got up like that. It never really got to uh, that level. You know, because I never really used it. So yeah, that's one of the things right now. Actually, you gotta try to get that back into the algorithm. I'm trying to see why I can't. Why this is not streaming. So so y'all had knowledge since equality cipher. Am I am I am I reading that correctly? A physical degree is equality cipher, right? That's what I was. So I was a little more. Let me see if I take that off. Let's see if I take that off and just go by this right here. I might do better with reading these comments. I like it with this other screen in right here, but apparently this is unstable. But yeah, it came down to the nitty gritty though. Finally, man, I guess we got this a little bit. We got this a little bit in the zone right now. For right now, how we got it. So yo, what's up out there? Y'all can see what I've been spending my time doing. So we didn't exactly come in with a topic today. So uh, we could go open forum today. You know what I'm saying? If you notice on the random Jews, if you notice on the random Jews, see, it keeps going out. But when it comes back in, you notice that the random Jews square, it says firstborn. Because that's who you're dealing with. Firstborn Darkim. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, today's a big day. I guess if we got some tough questions out there, today's the day. But when did y'all get the knowledge though? Wise understanding. What year was that when y'all got the knowledge? So when you're done building, I want to clear up. It says the Red Bank got the knowledge self. I made some phone calls. I don't know. Let's put it up there. This is, I guess I got to deal with this new kind of lag time here. What's going on? Oh, I see it up there. Right. I made some phone calls and I dug into some newspapers. I even found a 15-year-old video. But I mean, now we could so then what year? We might as well go ahead and attack that now because, like I said, we didn't really come in with a topic. Oh, yo, something I just now realized, yo. I'm sitting here wondering why can I not keep up with the comments? It's that the comments is going top down now. Right. So, in what year was it that the knowledge traveled from New York to New Jersey? Very good question. Uh, let's see. Judah TV might have some information on that. Let us go here then and put this. Let's see if we can move. So now I can see, I should be able to see the, all right, there we go. He said, these are all the people that are liars according to that person who said the knowledge went to Red Bank first, 1970. So wait, you said these are all the people, you said G. Colleen, you put it in 5% newspaper, December 2000. Knowledge born, Asbury Park, Allah Justice, Allah God, Raleigh. This history I know came from them. I mean, now look, just from the text right here, right? Just from the way this is written, right? I gotta ask, is this coming from Knowledge God? King said I had knowledge of self in the early 80s straight and started dealing with a lot of negativity. I'm now getting back on my square and renewing my history. So yeah, the reason why I asked y'all that, right, is what's some of the things, right, from 1980 to 2025, right? Some things that's different. Some things that you might have predicted and some things that you didn't predict would happen, right? Is there any things that like you saw that coming, and some things that you like that's kind of out of left field. Luke Cage, you said the two brothers that brought the knowledge to Asbury were knowledge guy. Yeah, that's the knowledge guy and true sign. Okay, but yeah, that's the that's the so that's who's speaking here. You see, that's the kind of language that he uses. Now, look, here's the thing, right? Look, I don't argue with him, right? Because when we deal with the facts is the facts, right? He had this before I was physically birthed, right? He had this knowledge. My mom was like in the 10th grade or something like that, right? Understood, right? But here's the thing. He didn't say what happened. You said that these brothers is liars, right? But you didn't say like, nah, I gotta see what happened. Was it got there, right? In this time, right, through that brother or those brothers or that sister or that way or whatever, right? And it got to Asbury at this time through this way or that way or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But whatever you see, right? The shots being fired. For me, especially in the topic being Asbury, right? But I'm just saying, look, was it him? Because he got a couple of minions. He got a couple of, you got Pattern of the Sun. Shout out to Pattern of the Sun. Right? You got Another brother I can't remember. I can't recall his name. I met them once, but on on Facebook, that's where they. So we took everything from him except his language so that we could identify him. So when you recognize someone's language, it's not wrong to ask. Look, exactly. It's something about the language and the way it's used. You see what I'm saying? Like right there, like I said, all you have to do is say what the truth is. But first, you got to list all these people that's liars. But look, here's the thing. If you recall, right, that's what I told you that I'm not from Jersey, but, you know, I heard it was Red Bank. I've seen brothers say that in front of other brothers from New Jersey, right? So, whatever the case, right, we've established that there is a case, right, you know, that's in fact being made by some brothers from Asbury. There's some brothers from Asbury saying that as well. So, you know, I guess we got to keep doing more research. We at that level. When you get at that level, you got to do more research, right? Because see, that's it. That's a way that you think. That's a way that you think, right? Where you automatically like, okay, somebody here, you know, there's a liar. You see, we didn't examine none of those people. We didn't examine none of those people to just roll with that. Because see, like I've said in a couple of the last live streams, that a lot of things come down to how you see the guys already, man. Our God sincere, almighty say cool, right? Just with anything. Like if somebody tells you, yo, XYZ person, XYZ person uh, stole a ham sandwich. Now it depends on what you think about that person. Like for the most part, right? When I say that, for the most part, when I say that, right, I'm saying that as a 5% to other 5%, right? So we're gonna think first, like, come on, man. Like I don't know nobody that's gonna steal a sandwich and then a ham sandwich, right? But now, if you already think that this person, right, that you have to already think something about that person to just accept that on face value. Julia TV, you said, what are their names? What names you talking about? There's a video on YouTube with a lot of Divine from Rochester interviewing Wisdom God Asbury Park. He said the knowledge came from New York in 1970. But whose names you talking about? See this, I don't know why this thing over here is unstable, man. Fuck with me right now. you said, you know, but you know what? Let me stop talking too, because I've been off Knowledge God's radar for a while now. Let me let me do my best to stay off. The brothers from Asbury Park. You said it in your what's the name? You said when whoever wrote, you said somebody wrote that they could tell you who the liars are. And then you said Colleen, and then you said two brothers from Asbury. Divine Truth. Let's, let's see if I can catch up to the. Oh no, you said one brother. You said should be coming up here in a minute. Right. So knowledge born from Asbury Park. So like I said, it's said I met Knowledge Born from Asbury. He told the history. When I talked to Allah Justice, Allah God, and Raleigh, they confirmed everything he said. So Knowledge Born, what's the history that he told you? These is all the people that told you that Colleen put it in the paper, or are these the people that told you that uh, it was in Red Bank first? So all these people said it was in these knowledge born, Allah Justice, Allah God, and Raleigh said that it was in Asbury first. Free Almighty. When you say a large justice, you talking about a large justice that's in Philly now? Still there? Did I bring the knowledge to Beacon and Newburgh? Uh, I've been close to Newburgh. Uh, there's some brothers that I taught up there in Rockland County, but I ain't bringing knowledge up there. Large justice. How you look? What happened to our king and wise understanding? With the questions I was asking y'all about some of the things, you said there's another Darkim. No, it's not. But with some of the things, man, that that y'all notice is different. Life magnetic. Yeah, that's nah. How you know that's who he's talking about? Wisdom be born. All right, yeah, he had it. All right, yeah, that was just all right. Yeah, But it all gotta be examined. Look, 'cause like I said, see, there's some things that I absorb all the information. You know, Colleen can know something they don't know. See, the knowledge comes to some places like that where it comes to nah, you from Far Rock. Large Justice from Far Rock, and he went out there from what brothers out there tell me that they was like really, it was like when he got out there, that's when it got right. Like people had righteous names and everything, but yeah, he's from Far Rock though. He said, "Why, when Musa came 2,000 years later, did he teach the devil of the forgotten trick knowledge that Yaqub taught him?" I mean, all of that was predicted in the year 8,400 before all of them was born. Allah Powerful Life. Hi, welcome to the channel. We from Allah Powerful Life. Hey, Julie TV, we hey, look, let's just stick to how. Look, Wizard B Boy, Julie TV, we if you know, you know. But yeah, that's my brother right there though. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you get a chance to holler at the guy, tell him I said peace, man. If you talk to him again about the topic. Right, yeah. But she used to rest like in like what's that, like Hollis or something like that. Somewhere out there in that side. But yeah, I ain't never been like all inside, but yeah, I used to come over there and pick them up, drop them off. All right, came from Cream City and live in Love Law now. That's positive. So when you look at uh, we not. I don't know how much you watch this channel, right? So we not religious, right? I don't want you to get, but because this is the first time I noticed you on the channel, right? But we draw things up, right? We draw up everything. So, uh, to the in general, right? Uh, the world knows the Torah as Musa's teachings. You know what I'm saying? The five books of Moses. So in there, you got a lot of various. You got laws about dietary law. You got laws about how you're supposed to keep the knowledge, right? You got laws about how you're supposed to live out the knowledge, right? You know what I'm saying? You got the Ten Commandments, which is uh, righteous principles. You know what I'm saying? But you also have, uh, all this stuff about them having this kingdom where they inherit the earth. You see what I'm saying? Like what Yakub promises people he would do. You see what I'm saying? So, uh, this is a part of his history. You see what I mean? Where he had his time that, see, he's half and half like that. Right? He got his Egyptian family, but then, supposedly he goes out into the wilderness and has the revelation about his Hebrew family. You know what I'm saying? So uh, this is, just like it tells you, Musa came. I mean, well, look, uh, with wise and understanding, I'll let you mention it before we jump off into it. You know what I'm saying? But Musa being a prophet, right? He was predicted by the 23 scientists in the year one too. In the year one as well. I mean, you see what I'm saying? So this is, I mean, I don't know if I'm answering your question, but it was predicted of him just like it was predicted of Yakub. He said, when we become adults, we're supposed to return to the mosque. That's emphatically not cipher. I heard Black Messiah said, the Father said, those that can't uphold being God should return to the mosque. Well, I'll say this. Yeah, I never heard that. I never heard that this was Allah's teachings, that there was an age, right, when we were supposed to go back to the mosque. You know what I'm saying? Now, uh, there's steps and stages of maturity, right, where uh, there is some principles, right, that we left behind in the mosque, right, that, uh, like, say for instance, uh, a lot of the restrictive laws, you know what I'm saying? So we don't have all of the restrictive laws, right, externally. You see, there is things that we learn through the maturity of self and through, just learning lessons, right? That, see, we have to we have to practice that law ourselves, right? Not because we're gonna be beaten with many stripes by some external person or force or entity or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But uh, I don't know if that's what he means. Just looking for understanding, right? Of uh, what maybe what I see is maybe he mistook what we said. You know what I mean? But just even as an individual, right? Uh, you know, when I started out teaching the knowledge, I'm standing on outside. I'm standing on corners. I'm standing in front of buildings. I'm standing in front of stores. I'm in arcades. Standing in front of the school. You understand what I'm saying? And so, you know, it comes a time when yeah, you're gonna have to outgrow that. And so that is what I heard. right, is that there's some things, right, that we doing right now, right, us as a nation, and then each one of us as individuals, we're gonna have to outgrow this, right, in order to be successful in the steps and stages that's to come. You know what I'm saying? But never that, because see, going back into the mosque, right, is going to entail uh, a difference, right, in knowledge and born. You know what I'm saying? Meaning from the jump, from the jump, right? Who are you saying Allah is, right? And then in the completion, right? Who's responsible for the solution? Like, what is your participation, right? Meaning, is your participation to just uh, accept that there's no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger, and then everything else is going to be taken care of? King said there have been a few changes, such as what you are doing now with streaming, but the essence is still the same, which is the teaching about true history. Yeah, this streaming stuff is you know. But there's see, here's the thing too, right? It is what it is. It is what it is, and the history is the history, right? And see, a lot of people, you want to do that, or they want to do that. They want to put words in Allah's mouth. Well, he was gonna tell us to go back in the mosque. Yeah, but he didn't say that, right? And why was if we just looking at it and we just say, okay, we putting these things on the scale, right? All they got is at some point, right? He was a member in Temple Number 7. That's it. Now on this side, right, we say that, okay, why did he tell us don't have Muslim names no more? How's that? How's that add in? Like, why didn't he come up with a more mediated solution? Meaning, okay, if there's a discrepancy, right, about brothers having Muslim names, right, but then not following the restrictive law, then why wasn't we brought closer to the restrictive law? Why was it said, all right, well, you know what then? Yeah, let's get our own names. I'm just saying, if we just ask him, right? Because I don't have no wisdom, right? I ain't never heard that Allah said for us to go back in the mosque. See, somebody put it up there a while ago. That's what I heard, and that's what I know to be a fact from living it out. Is that, listen, if you're not prepared, like, look, recently that came, right? Recently that came, you know what I mean, where somebody was like, yo, look, you know, they want to come around the school, but they don't want to be pressed, right? You know, these you know, just at the end of the day, right? You know what I'm saying? Cause see, I don't want to get too far away from the topic. That's why I just realized that. See, I'm about to go into another one, right? You know, but at the end of the day, if if you can't handle, right, being, if you can't handle that all that above is caused by the Son of Man. And see, here's the difference, right? Here's the difference, right? If you got a child, right, all that above, right, is blamed on you. And whatever the solution is, right, is blamed on you. Now, I know that everybody in society is not children, right? But we say we the father of civilization. So see, we're not talking about an individual adult, me being responsible for that individual adult, right? But we responsible for the society that we live in. Said, didn't the Muslims complain that we had Arabic names and that's why we changed it? I mean, there was, now look, Wakil disputes that, you know, uh, if you listen to Wakil, right, it's just a one-sided, uh, I don't even want to say dispute. It's just one-sided that, we, or rather the priesthood that taught us, right, didn't want to go into the mosque. But like I said, there's steps that's taken. You know what I'm saying? There's uh did anybody see the there's a video of a dude that's saying, a Muslim that's saying that he came to the first rally. And so what I'm saying is that, you know, there was communication, there was outreach. It's not like Allah went into the mountains. You know what I'm saying? He was right there in Harlem. So you know, if that was the ultimate goal, that was the change he was gonna make, you know what I mean? You know, why wasn't all these other steps being taken? You know what I'm saying? Let's not forget that, if you've been around enough people, right, that was there in 1969, right, they talk a lot about how Allah was speaking like he was aware that something might happen. Like he was speaking to people in terms like, yeah, after this year, you know what I'm saying, or, from now on, after this, y'all gonna have to do certain things. So if that was the case, right, you know, all the way down to, it said that when he left the school, right, June 12th, June 13th, however you count your time, right, 1969, that he wrote on the board, teach on. So, why wouldn't, right, amongst all these various instructions that was being given out, why did the one to go back in the mosque, why did that go out? Like, all the various people, nobody ever said that. Yeah, I was in a conversation with him one day, and he was talking about, yeah, maybe we should do that. Like, I never heard Azrael talking like that. Like, yeah, we should talk about that. We should talk about that at Malibu. I never heard that. I never heard the brothers from Medina say that. I ne- where, where I, but to me, it's just a matter of uh, where he's decided. Where he's decided is the best sources to get the history of Allah. See, like, look, there's people, right? I don't know if they're still alive right now, but I'm saying in the history of time, right? There's people that could come and tell us, right, about uh, there's people that could come and tell us about Korea, meaning people that were stationed with Allah in Korea, right? That you can't tell them nothing, right, about they comrade, right? They comrade that in arms, man. We see it when all that heroic stuff was going on. Yeah, I was there, man. See, I wouldn't try to tell them nothing about that. See, people in his family tell you about Virginia, right? They tell you, listen, you ain't gonna tell them nothing about that. So I don't know why people think they can tell the 5% about this time. Why people think that, they got this other history. I'm just saying that, in the midst of all of the things that we learn, in the midst of all of the things that we learn, right, from ourself, Lord and Master, to arm, leg, arm, head, without any of that, will show you that we gotta go back in the Mars, right? Or are you just saying that all that's made up? But look, man, I keep telling people, at the end of the day, you got to, uh, you know, you got to see the, for me, I see the love in it. I see the love in it. You see what I mean? From uh, these various people, right? Because see, uh, you know, see, opposite emotions is actually closely tied together. See, the opposite of emotions is indifference. See, people that heard the science and it wasn't for them, right? And they just went their way, like, yeah, I heard that, but yeah, I didn't really. Like, it's things that I've heard, right? And say, yeah, I didn't really, like I seen I seen the headline or something, or I saw some people with the T-shirt on or whatever. But I ain't really. See, that's really the opposite of loving them or hating them. See, love and hate is really connected like that. So see, when you see these various people, right, and they going out, they way like all of these is things that I over time begin to see that for whatever he's trying to do, right, we the threat. We the threat. So these various people, they gotta try to destroy this. All of these things that's going on, right? Everything that everybody got to say about us, whatever it is, right? We manifested something, right? That they all want to be a part of. See, what happens is, and that you get that a lot, because to me, right, you know, you got a lot of dudes. See, they can follow the restrictive law. They can't really follow the law of supreme mathematics. See, because you got to prescribe it yourself. And see, what happens is when somebody don't want to deal with the law, right? Then they want to categorize it as restrictive anyway, right? But somehow the culture is holding you back. Now, do growth and development require you to break through some boundaries? Yes. But see, let's not pretend, let's not fool ourselves, right? That some of them boundaries are not there because of our survival. So like one time we wanted to go across the street, right? But because we wasn't prepared, right? A boundary was set right there. Don't go past right there. I'm talking about by the people around you, your parents and all that. And so this is kind of something that I could say, for the entire time I've had the knowledge, right? That's been a thing where you got people that want us to throw our rules away and follow their rules. Why y'all asking people in lessons? You know, why somebody gotta quote the lessons? Why you gotta be in the cipher? Right? You wanna categorize all of our laws and all of our culture, right, as restricting, right? But then you want us to submit to a law that's called the restrictive law. See, look, this is another thing that happened. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, with a lot of that, the knowledge being expressed a lot, you know what I'm saying, through entertainment and all of that. Is that you don't realize, right? You start to forget that these elements of our culture is there for our survival. You see what I'm saying? Like we got the brother right here that he said he strayed away for some period of time and then he came back, right? Question. During that time that you strayed away, right? I'm going to ask you, right? In what order, right, did the lessons go? I mean, like, if you stray away, right, just, you just stop going over there where the guys is, right? But at some point, there comes a point when if somebody would ask you the degree, you don't know it. Because see what happens as soon as a person want to come back to life, what they do? They want to get their lessons back. Because you realize that that was a part of your survival as this. See, that's when people keep getting fucked up, right? And not understanding that the challenges, right? The challenges come from you, come from a person's own self. You see, what happens is you fuck around, right? You fuck around, right? And instead of being allowed to die in your iniquity, now somebody got to require your blood at thine hand, right? Because you didn't fucked around. Now. But see, in general, your own iniquity was your test. See, the own shit that you was doing, right? In the penalties and rewards, right, for your deeds, actions, right, and inactions. Because the shit you supposed to do, if you don't do it, you get a penalty. It's shit that would have put you off the track that you don't do it, and now you get a reward. Shakanulu complete. So and here's another thing, because I always say that on here, those are brothers. Ain't no problem with them living out, ain't no problem with them living out knowledge and wisdom, right, to the fullest of their understanding. See, for you just to say, all right, well, look, you know, we got the truth, right? And so, y'all might as well, come this or that or whatever, right? That's religious. See, when the Pope just comes down with this decree right here, right? Or the rabbi or whoever issues this edict, I've spoken to God and determined that priests can't get married no more. Or whatever it might be. Yeah, this is Restream. I got some stuff in the background, but today it's been good. I noticed that. Look, I noticed. I think I know what happened. See, the crazy people realized that I was prepared for them today. So we didn't get the riffraff today. which is good. That's how I like it. That's how I like it. But I mean, look, and this is I'm saying my understanding. See, this is a distinct and unique culture. Culture is something that is related. Yeah, any practice that whatever people got, right? You're gonna find some other people that you know they they helped develop those ideas before they got to now. So while I was understanding, so I also fell victim in the bill cyber. But that's what I'm saying though, right? When you fall victim, right? You all of these various things that we have that for other people they're boundaries. Other people see having to deal with the lessons, right, as boundaries. Like, yo, you restricted to that. You got to quote these lessons. But to me, it's like somebody saying I'm restricted by taking a bath. Like, yeah, so you caught up in society. You caught up in society, man, because society be saying you got to take a bath. You worry, you worried about people if people think your underarms stink. Like, yes, I mean, like that now. Maybe there's look. Matter of fact, there's definitely somebody in the world that thinks that. Absolutely. Let me tell you something. I met him at a law school in Mecca, and he said that he hadn't washed in whatever period of time, right? Because it is protecting him from evil. He want to wash away his protection. Absolutely, I met that person. I met that person. So that's I'm illustrating through that, right? How I see that. That's how I look at it. Like what other people see, what that dude sees as something restrictive that I'm doing, right? Or something that's detrimental that I'm doing, right? By taking a bath, right? I'm looking at it as one of the best things I do every day. You see, there's lots of things, right? That listen, because it has to go in order, right? Because it has to go in order for you to be successful, it has to be laws, self-realization, right? Because it has to go in order for you to be successful, it has to be laws. See, because when you get out there into all that freestyling, what happens? Eventually, you got to have some kind of structure. You got to have some kind of structure, right? To kind of rely on to make sure everything is going according to the steps and stages. Because see, you could be traveling, but in the wrong direction. Hey, Julie TV, I'm just telling you. that there's various people, right, that you could look at things, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, uh, I've heard people say, yo, uh, you know, you trying to control people's minds. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to say it's propaganda, but look, it's just, you're saying that it's a method of control. What I'm saying is, no, we one mind. We move in unison. Everybody's not saying the same thing, right? But we're of one mind, and we're going according to one thing. See, whatever team this is, we don't start running the other team's plays. Hey, we got our plan, we got our system, right? Supreme mathematics that we supposed to be dealing with. Now we got this course of study, right? 120 lessons that we use in order to build up our skill, right? Develop our ability to use our supreme mathematics. And then the real test is out there. The real test is out there. So now when you get out there and you fail, you blaming yourself or you blaming the knowledge. And when you blame the knowledge, the question is, right? How much did you put into the knowledge really? Meaning like you blaming high school for why you a failure in life, right? But you never went to class. How is it supposed to help you, bro? You on your own. You're on your own. You decided that's what you decided. But now you want to go back to what you deserve and not what you earned. You want to go back to what you deserve. That's like a whole big thing now where I've seen that. Yeah, I'm going to have to remove that word from my vocabulary. And when people use that term with me from now on, right, I've decided that, yeah, I'm going to have to say, all right, now look, this, I don't know what you deserve. I can tell you what you earned. You know, as far as I'm concerned, look, you deserve the oxygen. You deserve the sunlight. You people that, yeah, he's still he's a human being. Okay, as that, right? You deserve the oxygen and the sunlight and water, right? You deserve to look, walk down that street and not have nobody accost you, right? Molest you in any way, right? You deserve that. But past that, I've lost track of what people's talking about. God, it's been a minute. Got some old timers came through. See, there's some things, right? Institutions. When I'm talking about institutions, I'm talking about pillars. Institutions. Uh, like education, right? You know, uh, these institutions rest on certain principles. And so you can't start, picking away all these principles, right? You start picking away all these principles and expect the institution to still stand. You said, what's land and what's water? You asking me this? Or is there some other level? Is there some level that I'm possibly missing here? Why it's understanding it says seven is above six, six is close, but it ain't seven. But I'm gonna tell you something, right? You said it right there, but in different words, is that see that's why you gotta stay on your toes. Cause see, once you drop down to 6.9, you're in the realm of six. if you get if you get to 6.99, you're in the realm of six. You're in the realm of six. And I'm gonna tell you something. If you be around the wrong earth, off with your head. I seen him do it. I, I seen him do it. That's why you got to just a little bit of slippage, and you in the realm of six, and therefore subject, right? Subject because of your weakness to all manner of wickedness. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I, I don't know how far y'all go back in this knowledge, but once upon a time. Yeah, yeah, you can't round up. There's no, there's no rounding up on that one, man. There's no rounding up on that one, man. But yeah, that's why you gotta look. I'm telling you, everything was you got to stay on point like that because you gotta remember, everybody wants the top spot. Some people just want to know how it feels to kick their foot up on the CEO's desk. They ain't really got to know. They just want to see how it feels to kick their feet up on the CEO's desk, right? But you got other people that look. They want the crown for survival. Like if you getting to seven means the end of them. Guess what? That's why it's a daily grind. It's a daily grind. See, getting the knowledge of self, that's not getting baptized. Getting the knowledge of self is not shahada. It's not, whatever else, whatever else. It's not that. It could be all right. So, yeah, we got any other questions out there? We kind of, I think we got our point across about that. Just in terms of that whole conversation kind of started from the brother saying that there was some suggestion out there that maybe at some point the 5% as a nation was supposed to go into the mosque. Like these is, uh, supposed to be an eventuality of the progress, as a part of the progress of 5%, at some point we're supposed to go into the mosque. You I would have to say, see, just the way I look at, life in general, this 5% thing is that look, where everything, when you got a group of people, right, and decisions have to be made, directions had to be taken, or whatever, right? Um, you're not going to agree with every decision, right? From the from the gate, right? You know, your mom's is not always going to decide to make what you want her to cook, right? You know, but you can't just, if you're going to remain a family, right? You can't go to, what are you going to do, right? We got to accept, right, that us in all of our infinite wisdom have come to this conclusion. But I had to say that, if y'all come together and all y'all infinite wisdom, look, I won't question it. I won't question it. I won't turn my channel into an anti-y'all channel, but I'm not going to the mosque with y'all. Dudes. When y'all come out with y'all bow ties on, I say peace. You know what I'm saying? We kicking it, all of that. Clearly it's gonna be things that I do still that y'all don't do no more. Right? We ain't got to go there. So, but yeah, I think that's where I draw the line. I think that's where I draw the line and take the best part for myself and leave y'all alone. I don't foresee that happening. But yeah, we got any other questions out there? You know, See, and I'm telling you another thing, man. With these people, we've already spoken. Like I got into it right then because like I said, I came on today testing out testing out this new app, right? To with the stream and everything. So I really didn't have a topic. You know what I'm saying? So we got into a couple of controversial things. You know what I'm saying? But in general, with these people, the only thing we really gotta let, the only knowledge we gotta be made born, right? Is us to us. Like I will say that in this new age of the internet, you gotta make knowledge born. You know what I'm saying? Like in the regular world, something could have happened, like anything. right? Like you could have been walking in your house, right, and tripped and fell, right, using the house by yourself. Now, all you gotta do is don't go outside and talk about that, and that dies right there. But see, the internet is already Front Street, right? But here's the thing: don't get caught up. Yeah, you gotta make knowledge born, right? Meaning that okay, this statement is out there. You gotta put another statement out there, right? And then now the people can weigh and judge it a little bit more because see the algorithm and shit. You know what I mean? You got this. I do a video, and somebody else pick up that video talking about my video, and you know what I'm saying? And so now you got all this body of, you know, just words, just people speaking propaganda or whatever, right? But it's just out there, right? So now, you know, all right, you put the truth out there, you balance it, but now you got to go back to the, you know, all right, you made knowledge born. So now it's just like, look, I was telling them you wasn't on the, I don't think you was coming on live stream then, right? Where I seen these animals, what you call them, groundhogs, right? And a snake tried to creep up on them, right? Whatever kind, I don't remember what kind of snake it was, but a snake tried to creep up on them, right? So one of them detected the snake and gave the signal. And when he gave the signal, they all stopped what they was doing. Like the little ones that was playing, the ones that's out foraging for whatever food, the ones that's building the nest, whoever, they all just stopped what they was doing, right? Stood up on their hind legs and just looked at the snake. They ain't make no more sounds. They ain't try to tackle him. They just looked at him. And he just slinked his ass right up on out of there. Because see, these people is the cover is their weapon. The cover is the only that's their skill is being able to use the cover. Once the lights come on, we ain't gotta worry about the people no more. See, you can't sell your bullshit fries where McDonald's is selling their fries. You can't sell your bullshit Coca-Cola where Coca-Cola is selling their Coca-Cola. See, the bootleg, right? The bootleg is always going to be apparent, right? When the authentic comes. And so that's the reality. All we got to do is be the authentic. You know, how many times does it ever happen to you in life where you realize, like, look, you got to the authentic and realize, wait a minute, man, all this time I was fucking with the bootleg. I ain't never know this thing was actually that good because I've been fucking with the bootleg. You ain't never had that happen to these motherfuckers. These motherfuckers been jerking me for years. But see, now I know the real deal. I never go back there again. See, that's all we really, really, really got to do and shit. You see what I'm saying? We not these other people who look. We don't got no directive like that. You see how you got other people that they got particular directives, right? Where that's part of what they supposed to do is be going to fuck with other people. So if you look in their holy book, it got rules about how you can fuck with those other people in ways that's unrighteous, right? Whether you can kill them a certain type of way or enslave them or whatever it might be that not. So you can't do that to your people, right? You can't do that This is against Hebrew law. Muslim stuff is sacred. We don't got none of that. We don't got no end times. And so we don't have no people to be battling with. We don't got to battle. These people, that's what they doing. But they doing it because we life itself. See, there's no way to make life. And see, even if you got like those test tube babies, right? They first got to start off with life. They got to start off with some live cells. Whatever they doing, the stem cells, whatever it is, ain't no way to make life. You got to start with life. And so they got to start with trying to be a part of what we doing, part of what we doing. And see, that's when it really now comes down to, look, are we appreciating what we doing it, or what we doing, right? Or for that matter, doing it to the fullest. See, are you the person right now? You know how you like somebody be like, man, you know, why it's always a jackass that hits the lottery? You ever be thinking that? Like, why is it always a jackass that hits the lottery? Why nobody righteous, right? Like myself, can't hit the lottery, right? Where you just see a person in a situation where you like, this person's a jackass. If you sitting there in the catbird seat, right? But you don't know what you don't. You don't even realize it. That's the case for a lot of us. But we still waiting for a couple more questions. We got a few more a few more minutes. A few more minutes because uh see now wise I don't give my channel taken down. Let's leave them alone. Let's leave them alone now. Self high bill, what's the deal? We got any other questions? I think we got time. We got time for one more controversy. This one was lightweight. We just having a little fun, everybody. I got this new app right here, and really I'm just testing it out to see how it works. We're testing this out to see how it works. But I think the good thing though is that it stayed level. I think maybe I should stick with this. Like just put testing, 1, 2, 3 every day, and then we don't have to worry about the what's his name, Eric Smith. We don't have to worry about the Eric Smiths and the et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I got all these types of little toys in there. I got the various. See, really, I got the pad, and I wanted to really be uh, kind of controlling and manipulating over here. That's the first minutes why we wasn't able to come on, but that didn't end up working like I wanted it to, at least for right now. But we're gonna get it together. What you say here? A lot of love, shout out. You said, what's the deal with the City Science Channel? Oh, nah, I don't know why it went through like that. I don't know why when I was on the live stream, I did notice that it was only a couple of us on the live stream, but whatever. I guess I didn't hit the right button. You know what I'm saying? But is this video is supposed to be being streamed on uh, the City Sciences as well. I don't know how long I'm gonna keep it up. What I'm probably gonna do is, as a function in this app, is supposed to take shorts, and I'm supposed to be able to use this app to make the short clips. So I'm probably gonna end up posting some of the shorts from this over there. But said ain't no Muslim guys. The Muslims with sharp words. Well, see, and I'm gonna tell you something. That's another thing, and I kind of did that just now too, right? They're not the Muslims. What they teaching is not Allah's teachings. I mean, not Elijah's teachings. It's not Allah's teachings either. But I'm just saying, it's the stuff they teaching, right? That's not. I guess at best you could say, look, they people that they want they want the best of both worlds. Maybe that's what it is. Oh, you still about that? But like I said, man, we can leave them. You said, how do you see power in relation to the truth? P Almighty was the science. Uh, in the ultimate, at the ultimate level, right? Uh, you know, gas, right? You got your unleaded gasoline, right? That's the only way to power a car that internal combustion engine. You know what I'm saying? The only way for you to get an electric car to go, right, is by charging up the battery with electricity. You know what I'm saying? So you got various forms of directed energy out there. You know what I'm saying? Applied energy. You know, the truth, ultimately, like I said, if you get to, the black man, the truth of knowing who you are is the only thing that can power you out of the realm of six into seven. It's the only, it's the only applied energy, right? Like you could put a black man, you could dip him in what you call that stuff, the refined nuclear stuff, right? You could dip him, you could, you know, you could take the black man, right, and put his finger in the socket down at the Con Edison headquarters down there, where all the electricity comes from all around the city. You know what I'm saying? Or you got, Superman, his superpowers kick in when he gets by a yellow sun. You understand what I'm saying? And then on, every level down below that, right? Knowing the truth in various situations. You know what I'm saying? Is the you could have, for instance, you could have a car and you could have all of the gas in there, right? That's what I'm saying. We're coming down the levels now, right? But if you don't know how to drive a car, if you don't know how to drive a car, right? Then you don't have the power to go no place with it. You don't have the power to do nothing with it. You know what I'm saying? So and even that, you could say it's semantics, right? But there's a difference between energy and uh, applied energy. Now because it's you, I've avoided, because look, there's people in the background right now that they saying why I don't say it. So I'm saying for them, right? Some people call that refinement, right? But I'm gonna leave that part out because you wouldn't ask me. But yeah, the truth is the only thing uh, that will maximize that will maximize uh, the full potential of all your abilities. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, with working out, there's a science to it. You know what I'm saying? Knowing the facts. You know what I'm saying? The truth of how that works is, nothing is gonna unlock your potential like that. And it's one of those elements too, right? Where it's one of those elements that, see, like with fire, right? You need the fuel, right? You need the paper, or whatever it is that's burning, but you also need the oxygen. So see, it's the same thing where anything that's on the physical plane, right? Yeah, you got all the elements. Like we saying, yo, you know, uh, why does he fear the devil now? He's a big man, because you can have all these big muscles or whatever, right? You got a loud voice, you can speak, but you don't know the truth to unlock none of that power. So what was the events that made our people know that we were here approximately 60 years ago in regard to the 136? I heard you mention it a while ago, but wasn't able to write it down. Uh, they start sending ambassadors. They start sending United States ambassadors to Africa. Uh, there was people that was going back and forth the whole time. I can't remember. I can't remember the brother's name. But he actually was the second person, the first person that went over there in that role. He was actually the second person appointed to that role. But you have various people like the Cuffy had went over there and came back. You know what I'm saying? You had uh, Liberia. You know what I'm saying? You have various things that had happened. Um, where that wasn't the first communication, but yeah, they appointed a diplomatic role uh, to be a liaison with Africa. Said, "Where's Goddess in the lessons?" I mean, you gotta remember the lessons was written at a different time. Like, see, people be trying to bring feminism into the lessons, right? When you know that's a that that starts to really pick up in the '60s. So see, now we dealing with a time where uh, there's a kind of competition. Like there's a different type of just understanding on how society works. You know what I'm saying? But you got to remember that you know the lessons is written from a perspective that all that is caused by the Son of Man, and so it's the Son of Man that's got to get on the square. You know what I'm saying, and become perpendicular in order to save the rest of the family and the rest of society. You know, it's not uh, it's just not written in a competitive way. You know what I'm saying? Like say for instance, you might get a woman today that looks at the knowledge culture degree in the 1 to 14 and see that as I guess demeaning or something. You know what I'm saying? But at the time when the lessons was written, women was going to college to learn the stuff that's in the knowledge culture degree in 1 to 14. So this was a different atmosphere, different society where it's like, nah, that never would have been in the lessons. That never would have been in the lessons, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, right? You supposed to you supposed to live out supreme mathematics, right? And a woman that bears witness to the, I guess precision with which you live out supreme mathematics, right? Can now submit to your decisions that you're making about how y'all gonna move forward as a family. You see what I'm saying? It's it's everything now is just even for the time when I got the knowledge is different. It's just the people that the mentalities that people come into the knowledge with now, you know what I'm saying, is not, is look, it was two genders, two sexes, whatever. Was it a lot of things, time goes on. And so those are the things that we got to come to an understanding of in this day and time. True indeed, but yeah, that stuff ain't gonna be in the lessons. So I always thought it was Albert Pike book, Morals and Dogma of the Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Uh, was it Pike in the 1700s? Didn't Pike got himself killed? Right? Is that him? Why is Columbus considered half original? Is it based on him, according to some scholars, potentially having Jewish and Italian heritage? Okay, if I'm ducking, let me know. Right? But look, in the lessons, you got these various people that they refer to as half original. Don't nobody really know who none of them are. Like, don't nobody know, you know what I'm saying? If I mean, I guess they got it narrowed down, right? But no one really knows who Columbus is, what he looked like, you know what I'm saying? And by, uh, just saying that he's from Sicily, right? I mean, we know that, various people was in Sicily, so we really don't, you know what I mean? You can't necessarily go by that. Like, if you say somebody's American, their heritage could be Chinese. You understand what I'm saying? So saying that a person is from Spain or whatever is that we don't know, right? But we know that he got some. He moved with the Europeans, right? And Ferdinand and Isabella, right? And we know that he moved with the Moors, right? In terms of his navigation and shipbuilding and all of that type of stuff and maps. Same way uh, Musa moved like that. You know what I'm saying? He moved like that too. But nobody knows like who his parents is. So Albert Pike got it. So did he get himself killed? Who's the guy that got himself killed? But I mean, now I wouldn't, in general, I wouldn't uh, relate this Masonic book right here with uh, anything to do with over there. You said, is he half original because he studied 35 to 50 years? Well, first question, right, is uh, like when you put the 35 to feel like how does all this like the third how do we know we studied 35 to 50 years is what I'm asking. not too well versed on how old Columbus. I'm not too well versed on how old Columbus got to be. And the lessons that Columbus was a Mason. No. Are you uh, making a connection to the Knights of Columbus, which is a different, it's a different secret organization. They not, you know, they move Masonically, but they're not Masons. So, Columbus got to be 54. I mean, he had to be studying from birth. Then he said, "When we live righteous and devilish, we live in half a risen." How could you? You got to break that one down? How could you live righteous and devilish? You said the three ships he sailed to America on had Masonic flags. We gotta, we gotta go all the way. You gotta. How they say, you gotta unpack that. So they had Mason. When is the modern Masonic flag? Like I don't know which the origin. I don't know when is the birth record of the Masonic flag, but uh, a lot of the Masonic stuff, to my knowledge, is from the modern Masonry is like from I think Germany in the 1700s. Oh, the Holy Blood, Holy Grail. Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm not saying that it's all just a pack of lies, but yeah, definitely triple check anything, triple check anything from in there. Because I mean, which there is real history to things. I'm not saying that, but a lot of things is people taking things literally, right? That they supposed to be drawing up. You understand what I'm saying? So like when I think about all that Grail stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? That's the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? That's the knowledge that whoever got that knowledge, right, is blessed. You know what I'm saying? With the being able to manifest life like Jesus. You know what I'm saying? All the powers that they saying is supposed to be if you drink the wisdom from that cup, right? So it's supposed to be the cup. The cup is the right person. Oh, Oh, right, Knights of Templar. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. That's a little more ancient, but uh, I mean, they was secretive. I don't know if they was Masonic. You know what I'm saying? But the cup, like I said, the vessel, the vessel being the right person that you get the wisdom from, right? That's the Holy Grail. And now, if you draw up that knowledge and understand it, then you got all those. You see what I mean? But see, they trying to look for a cup. You know what I'm saying? Like an actual cup, who I think is, you know, just when I draw it up, right? Is this is, I mean, at least yet to be shown and proven. If you ask me, right? It means getting the knowledge from the right person and drawing it up. The history of Columbus sailing is attached to the history of the fall of the mosque in Granada called Alhambra. Uh, uh, is that the last? Yeah, I think that's it. That's the last stronghold. If you, if I'm picking up what you're putting down here, that was the last stronghold. Uh, what do they call it? Reconquista, reconquista, reconquer, reconquering. I don't know how. What does that mean literally? I know it means reconquering. Uh, from the time that the Moors came into Spain, you know what I'm saying? You had a northern part of Spain that they resisted, and then you have what's his name? Charles Martel beat the Moors at the Battle of Tours. Charles the Hammer was Charlemagne's grandfather, and so once they stopped their advance of the Moors into Europe through that, then they started reconquisting. And so, uh, as they were slowly, like Portugal was one of the first places to get they to, uh, I guess, in being ruled, they wasn't being ruled by the Moors no more. And so, uh, when that last kingdom from Andalus fell, uh, the Spanish felt like, yeah, now we can get busy. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that they did then is that's when they started the Inquisition and all that stuff. Where it's like, we have all these people, we have all these people here with the Muslims, right? And now we need to find out who's who. We need to find out who's really rocking with us. So, if you wasn't Catholic, you know what I'm saying, or ready to, bow down to whatever Catholicism they was dealing with, then he was dealt with forthwith. But yeah, see, even with that, when they talk about the Knights of Templar flag and all of that, like it's a lot of stuff that, you know, speaking of all that, it seemed like they trying to get rid of them in the Middle East now. But yeah, we got any other questions? We're getting down to the nitty gritty, get down to the nitty gritty. Tomorrow when we come on, we'll have a direction. We'll have, I actually got some stuff. I didn't get a chance to put it on because now I'm seeing how this works. I don't have. I thought I could share my screen, but it doesn't look unless I could learn how to do it. I'm gonna have to uh, download some videos. I got a video about dietary law. Listen, I heard somebody talking about something like that, but I didn't really pay attention. But it's about something that where they take fruit uh, that's getting ready to go rotten, and then they spray it with some stuff, right, to make it look good, and then they put a sticker on it, right? So I guess the law is that they got to put that sticker on there, right? But if you don't know what that sticker is for, you think it stands for freshness guaranteed. I'm thinking, man, this is name brand fruit. I'm I'm up here thinking I'm getting name brand fruit, and this shit really saying that this shit is right. So yeah, I got a video. I got a video that I wanted to show y'all about that, but I didn't get a chance to. All that I was working. Look, some stuff I was working on, I didn't never get a chance to get it in effect. Some stuff I was working on, I got a chance to get it in effect. So, Mr. Greenwood, I never knew until recently that when you see a crescent moon and a bright star near it, that star is almost always the planet Venus. Why Venus? Venus is one of the brightest objects in the sky. Um, I mean, is this an astrological question? I mean, as astronomical question? Is this you, you said, do I still accept questions in the chat? Yeah, that's where you ask this question right here, right? Or you mean in the comment section after after the live is over? I mean, look, just get the question to me. He said, "What's the name of the sticker?" Yeah, the comment section is still good. Still good, still good, still good. We got, see, uh, actually was on. I was on Facebook earlier. I rarely go in there. I actually was trying to hook it up so that my streams go on Facebook too. But for whatever reason, it's not going through. I logged on and everything, so who knows? We'll try to get that together too. The next live is tomorrow. Like I was telling people, we're gonna try to have a little bit more direction. But sometimes, we freestyle. I guess it's just a freestyle Monday. Hey, complete. But see, you in South Carolina, but you was in Georgia, so it had made me think. Does anybody know what happened with those people? Remember that during the pandemic, I think it was during the George Floyd protests, the people brought all that property as a place supposed to be is called Freedom. I think Freedom or Freedom City, Georgia. Does anybody know what happened to those people? The time tomorrow I might be on early. We might do a little bit early, and so that I can allow myself to make some moves later on. Not to say that they in that, not to say that they in that same category. You know what I'm saying? But uh, we seen where a couple other people they had these big plans or whatever, and things fell apart. You know what I'm saying? Like Akon, uh, Umar Johnson. And I know that what they was dealing with was something totally different. I hate to kind of put them all in the same category, but just saying that it made me think about them. So the Masonic flag came and made me think about when I see the actual crescent and star in the physical space. I always thought that star might be the North Star. Um, I wish if Saquon was here, but the way I recall it, uh, because I used to look at the stuff like that, but that was when I was little. Is that the North Star is often mistaken, or Venus is often mistaken for the North Star. I think it may have more to do with the brightness, though. But that's a whole other level. That's a whole other level right there, man. You know what I'm saying? Once you know, that's like expanding out. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, you know, we say that the universe is a blueprint because it's working. You know what I'm saying? Like if you got, a system or whatever, something that's working, right? Then, that becomes the example. It becomes the example of blueprint for everybody that comes after you, what I'm saying, to be able to follow it. You know what I'm saying? So when you see things on a universal level, what I'm saying, that's working in the harmonious level that things have to work, in order for us to be in this system where, it's 365 days every year, you know, the sun and the rest of the environment causes the planet to be within a certain range of temperature where we could exist and all of that. You understand what I mean? You know, what rotates, what revolves, all of these different things, and then you can model other things off of that. You know what I'm saying? But right now, we mostly just here on the planet, so it's the things that we see. But that's just other levels of knowledge. And then, if you gotta be, that's the level of high poweredness to be able to now, you know, distill that knowledge and wisdom into something that you could make, you could make work right here. You know what I'm saying? Like we got the sun, moon, and star. That's right here inside this. But there's a whole other vast, universe out there that even our solar system is interacting with. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the Saquon, he's been in particular because I seen him uh, maybe about a month and a half ago, and he said that like he's been doing it long enough, right? That he pretty much has the night sky mapped out. Like all of the various things that you're supposed to be able to see at a certain time or whatever, he's already seen it and he already knows, he can already predict, like, all right, I just seen that. So yo, next I'm looking for this. The stars move over thousands of years. North Star can be in Pleiades at other times in other clusters. Yeah, you gotta, that's something to be into. Stuff like that is, that's going to be on the way out right now because, you got stuff like the internet, man. You know what I'm saying? Where, that's something, you know, it's akin to watching grass grow. In fact, for you to really observe the whole cycle, right? Yeah, grass is going to grow, 6 feet high, meaning like, let's say, uh, whatever zodiac goes with this particular time right now, right? Whether it's Cancer or Leo, I'm not sure, right? For you to wait to see that again, right? It's going to take a whole year. Grass will grow 6 feet high by the time we come back. So is that? We got any? got any last questions? I gotta get my sets in today too. I was gonna get them in. I was gonna get them in while we was doing the live stream, but then I got all confused. Everything I still had to figure this out. So when I get the, we get the system, we get the system together. You know what I'm saying? What time is it? Oh man, it's out there. I was about to say maybe we could switch over and flow from the survivalist roles on the city sciences, but we'll save that for right now. You know what I'm saying? Another, another. Hold on, let me show y'all one of mine because we didn't get to. We didn't get to. It was a. This was a, look. It was a good live stream for me. We had all. You know, good applicable questions. You know what I'm saying? And so look, this is this is you know I guess see this is we just put this out here right now because it's when you got toys and you got to play with them. You know what I'm saying? But let me show y'all one of the things that look we was gonna get into that. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, because we had such a great class, right? Or I had such an easy time. True divine, the mother of civilization was. You know what? I gotta get all that stuff back up. Like now that I got this what's the name here actually allows for me to put my store stuff back up. So yeah, I gotta get all that back in the mix. See, look, wait. I don't know how to get the other stuff off the screen here. I got it. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see how this. See. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see if I can get. I'm trying to see if I can get where you can see the whole thing. How I get that? How I get that down now? Wait a minute. It gotta be. There we go. Wait. Wait. This is how we gotta do that. Hey, look. You get the knowledge. You get the knowledge. You get the knowledge. Hold on, we gotta put some music over that. See, this is what I'm saying. I should have been doing this the whole time. Y'all know, y'all wasn't ready. look, got techniques. So y'all already know. y'all already know. Y'all already know. Hit the cash app. Y'all already know. Hit the cash app because y'all got paid for all this pimping. That's how. This is how we do it now. But yeah, we got. Hey, look, we got more. We got. We got more. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we just we playing it easy. Look, see what I'm saying? I needed to. I was trying to figure all this out before we came on. That's how we do. So you know, we gonna find some opportunities. You know, in the future, there's gonna be some opportunities where we have to throw this on, man. See, we got all this stuff right here. This how I want things to be like this here. This is what I'm talking about. this this is what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? But look, we got some real. We got some we got some signs y'all ain't ready for. We got some other signs that y'all is not ready for. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're gonna work on our artwork here. See, we got some much better artwork. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna start dealing with the thumbnails. You know, because look, we covered. I mean, is there a degree? Look, this is a real question. Is there a degree in 120 that we have not covered? Does anyone think of a degree in 120 that we have not covered? Because if we look, let's cover it. Not tonight, but not tonight per se. But it's their degree that we have not covered. See, that's one good thing too about the brothers. They came on. See, it's a lot of new people that's been coming on the live stream, right? But you know, for whatever reason, they don't want to speak. So that's the thing too. You know, don't get caught up with these people that already got the knowledge, right? This is really, you know, I mean, we all tune in, right? Everybody, the mind is open. We learn every day. But you know, if you in the background, right? You know, I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to y'all. In other words, you know, don't sit in the background and you know be confused because you're not aware of all the elements of what we're talking about when you could just ask what we talking about. It says 6 degrees and 114. I drew up anti-literacy laws, black codes. I never heard you build them. Anti-literacy laws and black codes. Well, what you drew up about that, you gotta catch me up. There you go, Mr. Green One. We need you. We need you to identify each one of these celestial bodies for us right here. Oh, this is planets. I thought these were stars. I like this stuff. See this? This is this is soothing. As far as keeping us illiterate, uh, now this kind of goes back to P. Almighty's. When P. Almighty, what was that question he asked? Oh yeah, about power, right? So when you say uh, you're talking about 1934, because I'm saying that that degree applies in a different way today, but it still applies. Now I know what the anti-literacy laws is, because that's what I'm saying. You applying it. You're saying applying it to 1934. I think I'm gonna like this one right here. Wait, I got a new one coming out. How does it look funny over there? What's this? All right, that's this is what I'm talking about. So yeah, if you talk about that context, right? Uh, in that context, they saying, why does the devil teach his own people, right, and keep our people illiterate? It's schools that they can't go to. Today, it pertains to they let us in the school, they teach us, and still keep us illiterate to who we are, which is the ultimate power that we need in order to elevate ourselves out the realm of 6 and into 7. You know what I mean? But that's, you know, we talk about 1964 now. Now we talking about, you know, the science that we apply to it, what it means to us. So, you know, we got people now with college degrees, right? But what they learned, right, was to obey. They learned to like the devil because the devil gives them nothing. But you know, in terms of uh, you know, I mean that's the anti-literacy law. Yeah, that defines the penalty. You know, but in essence, you know, if you have people, you know, trapped in this situation on your uh, farm, you know what I'm saying, and they not really allowed, you know, out of your control, then you know you just they're just not being exposed to books. They're not being exposed to the you know the alphabet and the words and the elements of knowing how to comprehend what you're seeing in a book. You know what I'm saying? But you know the actual question of the degree is why is he doing it? And like I just said, you know, it's just another element of the control. You know, all of these things, you see, look, you know, depending on what you've been exposed to, right? You know, like if you went to church as a little kid, you still remember those songs. Like you might can't think of one right now, but if they start singing uh, Jesus loves the little children or something, that's already been burned into you. They taught you that, right? They taught you the song, but you can't read it. The Pledge of Allegiance, you know, all of these is the various things that, yeah, they teach you now. And you still illiterate. But, you know, like you said, in the 1934 context, uh, you know, you still got, you know, even the people that's in the North in 1934, most of them still got sharecropping history. So when they, you know, they don't know how to read and write. You don't have to go back that far. My grandfather, I think, went to the 3rd grade. Then he had to start working. My other grandfather, I think, got to the 6th grade. We got all these dope scenes now. But yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and sign this one off. I don't even know how to end the stream now. sister. We'll figure that out. But look, you know, everybody do the each one teach one. If you made it this far, hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? If we got any new people, hit subscribe, hit the notification button so you can know when we come in. In the meantime, between time, we sign off and say peace. And we see each other tomorrow.